Hi everyone, the Mature Simmer here. So, jumping on the server finally. I've been on the server, honestly, but it was raining this morning. So, just checking if my PTO is connected. Looks like it is. So, I should be all set. And able to go and harvest the barley. So here we go. So I'm just happy to get this underway. So yeah, the first thing you might notice the bank balance is up. I did get the money from my oats moved into the server, or at least a good portion of it. I moved 150,000. I have repaired the harvester, so the repair issue there is the header. The harvester itself was just repaired while it was raining and so forth. Took a look at the pigs. They've still got about 15,000 liters of food, and we're 2 months away from being able to sell any. So I will certainly do some of that. So I'm going to be away for about a week coming up. Again, for the series on the channel, it's not going to matter because I've got enough content that I'm way ahead. So there won't be a break in the schedule, but what you will notice is that there's going to be a year where there isn't going to be any farming. So for year 94, that'll just be basically skipped over. There's going to be an FM who's going to use my field. Again, don't know if they're going to use the entirety of it. You know, we'll see what they decide to do, but they're desperately trying to make some money. And so when I let the group know, I was just trying to get their opinion on what they'd like to do for the server sync, so that the time stays at least reasonable in what they're looking for. And in that process, one of them reached out and said, hey, if you're not going to be using your field, can I lease it from you and use it so that I can make a little more money. So we're trying to work everything out with that. But other than that, I was just going to let it lie fallow, which it can do within FSN. There's nothing that doesn't let us do that, but just trying to be nice to a fellow FM. And it's the new one who hopped on, who obviously was having some challenges with even getting on to begin with, so it was definitely an easy one to agree to. Let's see. I guess this will work. I'm just using my GPS, but you can see it basically snaps pretty much where we were. So not going to have much before I need to go down to the other end and figure something out. Well, not much at all. So those are the two biggest things to let you know. Just money coming in, and the fact that in a few days I'll be out, but that for all intents and purposes right now, this will be it for a while, because I'm obviously not going to go ahead and plant anything. I may do the lime, although I don't know, maybe I'll just worry about that when I get back. I'm trying to estimate. Yeah, I think I need to go a little further out. I'm just trying to figure out when I hit the line where I'll be. But let's see, I'm at -7 here. So I'm guessing. That seems far, far too far, but maybe not. Which means I need to go way, way back, so let me... Oh boy, that's that. I was in reverse, but as you can see, the momentum, it just does not respond the way one would expect. Alright, well, I think I just need to go all the way to the end. So it's interesting that it lined up the way it did, but alright. No, I don't want to be at 9. I want to be at 8. Oh goodness. This is just not working out. Alright. So yeah, I guess we've even got a little bit here, and then the rest of it will cut over. So yeah, not quite sure what I'll get. As I was sitting around in the rain, I probably got to look at more stuff than I normally get to look at. So on the field info panel that comes up when you're just standing in the field, it had said something about estimated yield of 979,000 liters, but I'm thinking that's the entire field. So, because, you know, in the field info it gives you those acres and whatever, so I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that amount of barley off the field. That would be crazy if we did. Certainly would be happy with that, because that would be a lot of barley, and certainly much of it would get sold if we got that much. But I don't think we're going to be dealing with those kind of volumes. Yeah, this just doesn't look... So it must have moved over like 2 rows as I went, is I guess what was the problem, because again, you can see I'm now heading in between the crops, which is not great, because that probably means I'm going to be full before I get out of the barley. So I'll have to figure that out when I get to the end. It's going to be interestingly close, probably. Although I think I'm not going to make it, because I'm already up to 93, 94. Yeah, I don't think there's any way. I suppose I can... Come on. I don't even know that this is going to work. Oh, come on. Is it not? It's not, because I think at 18 it stops. Yep. So I couldn't even cut my way out there. Alright. Well, I can't, because I can't angle the pipe. I can't pull a truck in here and unload, so I've got to go all the way back, which is fine. Then I'll just clean this row up as I leave, you know, move up 1. And I guess I was at 6, not 7 when I was on the field. So that makes a little more sense, because I'm like, this is just really weird that I must have immediately moved over to 6. Alright. So that'll work. Park the truck over here in the trees, so I need to go get my trailer. Yeah, I think that was from when I fed the pigs last, because I kind of wasn't sure what I'd need. And so rather than run over and assume that I would need everything that was here, or that I'd be immediately harvesting, I kind of left it in a more neutral spot. I'm trying to get myself positioned here so that I don't suddenly start pulling the auger with me. So I'm going to come in here. No, that's not quite what I wanted. I want to be pretty much at this angle so that I can then just turn and pull out. Alright. So, pull forward. That should get me through. And then I can come around from this side. So because I've got only the one row, I can't swing real wide here because I've got Barley. But yeah, if I had made it out, it would have worked pretty nicely. I would be right here, but obviously to have made it out, I would have had to cut over early and didn't quite know what the situation was at that point. Alright, so first load of barley for year 93, heading into where it needs to be. This is still telling me I'm at 8, so why did it stop? Oh, I know why it stopped. Because I probably have a limiter on the trailers. Yep. So, let me reset that. And then, now I don't know why. Oh, that's the front one, that's why. Okay, well now I don't know why. Did I move enough that I'm no longer... Oh, yeah, we're good. Just took a little while for it to realize what was happening, I guess. And I was thinking about that when I parked the trailer, because that kind of stuff tends to happen. But it's alright. Guess we'll back up this way. Come on. Did I get it? I did. Alright. So, I think I'm far enough from the trees. I can leave the pipe out as I go. And I'll just keep harvesting away here. So yeah, my immediate future then will be, yes, year 94, I will not have activity, which therefore, since I'm not going to be around, obviously means not going to be any content created during that time that you're going to see. You know, we'll see what the results are as work goes on. You know, I didn't really tell him, hey, don't use the center or whatever, and if he does, it's not like it's going to be the end of the world. It just will likely mean I won't, you know, still be planting it like I was before. I just don't know what the plan is, if they're going to do the whole thing or, you know, how it's going to work. But for all I know, they're going to try to do the whole thing, realize how big it is, and say, oh, I don't have that much time, and I'll have a bunch of withered crop on the field, which shouldn't matter anything. I don't think it's going to suddenly create a requirement that I plow if they do that. But we'll see. But, yeah, I am beginning to wonder, speaking of plowing, I guess, I've been kind of thinking about this a little bit. Because I have the seed hawk that basically doesn't require me to cultivate, it seems maybe in FS22 that if you do that, that it satisfies the plowing requirement, because I know that I've gone long enough at this point that I've done 3. I thought I had a little bit left there, but I don't, thank goodness. Then I've done at least 3 crops on each portion of this field. since they were each plowed, and I've not been asked. It's not been telling me that there's a plowing requirement. So, again, not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth on that one. If I can not have to do that job, then I'll go with that, because there's certainly no lack of things that I do need to do. So I'm certainly not looking for extra work. But I just have been thinking about that every once in a while as I do things, because it's been one of those like, oh, I bet I'm gonna have to plow. Oh, I bet I'm gonna have to plow. And then nothing happens. So, you know, certainly not something that I'm like, I just can't wait for it to make me plow again. So I'm trying to think if somehow I really got 900,000 barley off of here. Like, what that would be, what? 10 trucks, over 10 trucks, more like 12 trucks. And each truck is basically like 4.5 harvesters. Yeah, there's no way. That has to be the whole field. So, you know, well, that probably means at best will be 400,000. Because again, it wouldn't surprise me if that little center section I don't do is 100,000. If I was to plant that, so. But yeah, just not a whole lot else to share, I guess. I'm trying to think of things to talk with you guys on, but it's been pretty quiet. You know, honestly, you know, I've been saying the last few episodes, just life's getting busier, so there's just less and less time to focus on things here, and so I just have not been on doing anything over the last few days. So I can't even share information on other stories or whatever, and obviously other things on the channel you'll have seen. So, you know, the only work I really had done was I made a little more progress in the VIP series, getting one more content for one more episode in, but you know, you'll see that if you're following the VIP series. I certainly encourage you to go take a peek at that if you haven't. So I guess I will make a plug for it here, in that it's actually a style of gameplay that mod drives that I'm thoroughly enjoying. I would say it's my favorite form of single player at this point. I enjoy it a lot more than survival right now, and definitely something that I'll keep doing until I don't enjoy it. You know, whether it's continuing that series or switching to another map and doing it, but it may become kind of my new standard in single player, that whenever I do something in single player, I'm just gonna load that VIP orders mod and play that map that way. I mean, there's areas where I could see it would certainly be difficult, but it might even make the really gigantic maps like Peace River, you know, or something like this, like Shellbrook or whatever, that would be really difficult without the format we have supporting it in FSN, to kind of be palatable, where you're just kind of sitting around doing your own thing. But if once again I have that feeling of, well, I'm being asked to do this, there may be a little bit more. The challenge I think that would exist on a large map is I don't think you're going to get like one big order in one level of VIP orders. I think you're going to still have 2 or 3 things you need to do. And then because of that, I think what that turns into is you're going to have multiple years to make progress, where on the smaller map that I'm doing, I was able to just plant a bunch of the different fields I had, and sometimes fulfill 2 or 3 of the VIP requirements at the same time, in essence, you know, where I had everything ready at once. But unless I was like figuring out how to divide up the field, it's just, the question is, you know, I think it would just give us a giant quantity of something, like say 900,000 liters of barley, if I owned this field and was playing VIP orders, and then that would just be one thing in the level. Which I guess, I don't know, in hindsight maybe that wouldn't be terrible, because as long as the rewards are commensurate, where it would realize I'm asking a lot, and therefore, you know, the bonus for finishing that level would be $1 million or something for getting 3 things done, that would all work. So maybe one of those things that one of these days I kind of, in my testing space, put the VIP orders on something like Shellbrook and just see what comes up. Because you can see, I think, 4 levels at a time, so it would give me, you know, the next 4 levels that it wanted me to do, and I could see what the situation was. But no, realistically, if I'm gonna do anything, there are some maps that are coming out with new fruits because they're in new locations. So there's the Italian map that is pretty nice, that I did a map tour on, and there's several out in, I think, Brazil that they have that have like coffee and things introduced to them and so forth. So at this point, if I was to make the call today and say, hey, I'm going to move to another map and this is what I'm going to do, it would be one of those with additional fruits, so that I'm having some additional variety just coming into the gameplay. But that was all I was doing, and just, yeah, sharing kind of my general feelings then with you of what everything looked like, or felt like, I should say, that I'm really enjoying what that mod brings to the game. And partially I think it's rare that someone makes a bit of a claim on their post when they put up a mod that things live up to it. I mean, a lot of times, I would say most of the time, nobody does that, but I think this person did say, like, you know, this will alter the way you play Farming Sim, you know, it has the ability to alter the way you play Farming Simulator, and I would say it absolutely does. It's definitely creating a dynamic that I was hoping it would when I looked at it and said, this could create a lot of thinking and planning and so forth, and that's certainly what it's doing, which is what makes it more intriguing to me. Because unlike here, where I'm kind of in that mode again of just, alright, what am I going to plant? And there's not really anything driving that other than, yeah, I'm feeling like barley this time. You know, or whatever's driving it is self-contained on my farm, which means I still have a semblance of full control over it. The VIP orders bring in this randomness of whatever these other people that aren't on your farm suddenly are going to want you to do. And so it just changes the dynamic. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just keep doing my thing. I'm going to let you go, and I will be back when I'm done with the harvest, so I'll see you in a bit. Just cleaning up after the harvest. and you know, getting the last part over to the silo. So I'm going to connect this up this time, because the last time I did this, then I pulled away and things weren't ready. So got my truck down here. So as you can see, 76,555 liters. So I have 4 or 5 full trucks before that. So 476,555 liters is what I've gotten off this field. So I'm going to go ahead, get that into the silo, and that is it for right now. So I've been talking with JP, who's the one who's going to be using my field. So he's was asking if it was okay to get going before the winter, and I said yep, as soon as I'm done here. I was not planning on touching the fields specifically anymore, so I might be back to do pig feeding or get this some of this barley or all of this barley to market. I don't know yet, but I'm not worried about that right now. And you know, his need was knowing if he could start. And I, again, don't know what his entire plan is, but, you know, some of my concerns about supply costs and so forth, it sounds like he's just gonna use his equipment and do what he needs. So, you know, at this point, I'm done for a while. Other than, you know, again, there'll probably be an episode or two of things in between before I get going again. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Am I full? No, I shouldn't be. Wondering if I moved a bit or something. Don't understand. Barley is not accept, so am I? I didn't think this had a limit. Alright, well, I think I've learned a new thing in FS22 that I wasn't aware of. So I'm thinking what I've hit is there's a 2 million liter limit for the silo, but again, in FS19, what that meant is you could have 2 million of each crop in there. So that's why I thought I'll be fine. But no, in FS22, that seems to be a total limit. So between everything here, you know, I've got 1.4, and then the 600,000 or so. Well, this one isn't here, so I guess 400. So 1.8. You know, but again, you know, adding everything up, I'm guessing I'm at 2 million. And the challenge is I need to, I mean, I do have to fill up the pigs and so forth, but unless I can get one of the things free, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to make space, because yeah, I mean, I'm going to pull 17,000 of sorghum out. I'm going to do other things, but yeah, this is interesting as well, because I hadn't even thought that I would be in any danger of that, so this sheds some new light on things. So yeah, at this point I'm going to divert a bit, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and feed the pigs a bit earlier than I had planned. I don't know that I'm going to have 40,000 liters to give them, but at least whatever I can I will, starting with this 1,087 of barley right here to increase my grain, and more importantly to give me a trailer that I can use I guess it was a little more than 1,087, but that's okay. Because, yeah, that was 40,000 up there, and I was assuming I had 40,000 in the back, which I don't, so it was more like probably 5,000. So maybe I'm over in the grain, but if it is, it is, so. But I'm going to go ahead now and work on the pigs, get those fed, and then we'll see what we can do with the rest of these grain when I'm done. Alright, so got the sorghum in, filling the soybeans. I only would need 359 of wheat, so it's really not enough to worry about, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is, because I have 8,100 grain in there, or barley I should say. It looked like wheat to me, but so, and then I've dumped what I could out of the back into the silo, so this is what it has left me with. So I'm going to go ahead and get that back near the silo. The slurry is full, so I'm going to go ahead and run that. At this point I'm basically just going to finish up the pig work, other than obviously selling any pigs. But at this point they'll be fed. I'll probably need to do it again before I leave, because otherwise, as it is, I think over 8 days, I'm going to have a problem. You know, it won't quite make it. So, but yeah, I'm going to have to figure out, I can probably, you know, I may go ahead, sell barley, I don't know what I'll do. But at this point I'm going to leave this here. I can perhaps top off potatoes, but in any case I think feeding them when I leave, I'm gone for more days than they're going to take, so I think they'll be out of food when I get back either way. So I'm going to finish this work up, but at this point, again, always something new and exciting. I'm going to go get the slurry taken care of, and then I'll figure out if I'm going to feed top off potatoes or if those are close enough, because I kind of still was at half or so, which is why I haven't had enough to empty out that grain. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up at this point, with you knowing what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get myself above 11, well, actually I probably won't get myself above 1.1 million, because slurry isn't worth that much. I'm going to get, at best, the best I've ever gotten is around 2,000, so it's like 18 or 1,900, so I'm not going to get 5,000 off it. But yeah, repairing the harvester and the header took quite a bit, and that has spent some of my money there. But then at least I'll have this done. JP can do what he needs on the field without me running around here for a while trying to do anything with the pigs, and then there's no damage or opportunity for damage, and we'll go from there. But I will leave you here, and I will see you next time.